بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الخلق وسيد المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So today we will have our special lecture with our guest speaker for this course. So today inshallah we will have engineer Khalid Al-Uraini, who has a certification in Lean Six Sigma from Northern Illinois University in the US in 2018. Before that, he got his master's degree in engineering management from the same university in 2016. And by the way, I'm very proud to say that he was one of my best students during that period when I used to teach in Northern Illinois University, and he was a student in the engineering management program, getting a course about the strategic management or strategic planning as a special course or special topic course similar to what you have guys in here about the lean manufacturing. Before that, he got his bachelor degree in surveying from the University of Otago in New Zealand in 2012. So he's a lecturer at the Riyadh College of Technology since 2007, and he provided he worked in different projects about Lean Six Sigma, and he can share some of those real life experience with you guys in today's presentation, inshallah. One of his projects is about the drive lock with the drive lock company in Sycamore, Illinois in the US. He's a team member in different projects in the governmental and private sector sides. He participated in providing different training courses about or writing different training courses at the construction and agricultural institutes, and he's providing different short courses to the public about project management by the Community Service Center and the continuous training. So he will start his presentation very soon, and if you have any question to him, just write it on the chat box or keep it down, just write it anywhere, and then at the end of the lecture we will have some Q&A session or a short Q&A session for you guys to answer your questions and comments. So by that, I will just ask Engineer Khalid to step in and start his presentation. So Engineer Khalid, here's your presentation, and you can control it by moving the slides if you want.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. First of all, thank you so much, Dr. Mostafa Fawzy, for inviting me and introducing me. And it is a very, very good chance to talk to your students about Lean Six Sigma. And actually, thanks to you actually for introducing me. And it was my great experience to be a student at NIU when you were there teaching. I remember the strategic planning course. Okay, the lecture will be about, it is an introduction actually to Lean Six Sigma. As you see, first of all, can you hear me very well? Just I'd like to check if you hear me or not. Please write one if you hear me. Okay, sweet. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. So as I said, it will be a general lecture about Lean Six Sigma. The time, it depends actually. It might take us from 1 hour to 1 hour and 20 minutes. It depends actually. And the information that will be provided in this lecture, it will be maybe theoretical and practical, you know, because Lean Six Sigma is practical methodology. So it is an information It's some information, but it's actually practical information. So it will be, as I said, introduction to understand Lean Six Sigma methodology, and the content of, or I can say that you may need to have a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil, because we may take two exercises to practice some techniques or some tools or some concepts in this lecture. So it is good to have it now before we start. And the questions, as doctor said, or you feel free to answer any question if this if you think it is very necessary to answer, to ask. I mean, if it is not, you may leave it to the question and answer time. So today we'll talk about, we'll give a brief historical view about Lean Six Sigma. Then we'll talk about the importance of Lean Six Sigma. After that, Lean Six Sigma categories, and we will talk about Lean itself first, which is established first, and after that Six Sigma, and we may give a brief information about quality, and finally standard work. Standard work. Okay, historical view. Improving the quality, or um, the techniques for improving quality, or Lean Six Sigma, I could say, doesn't start suddenly in a specific year. No, all the improvement or the quality improvement techniques started from about 1950s and start to improve every year until today. It was, in the beginning, it was very simple techniques like just-in-time technique. Just give me a minute to, just-in-time technique or pull system technique, or even lean, which is a Japanese technique, lean manufacturing technique in 50s and 70s. After that, for example, the most popular one, Edward Deming, who's an American, who was recognized as a father of quality, who lived in Japan for a long time in 760s and 70s. He established PDCA technique, which is P stands for plan, D stands for do, C stands for check, and A stands for act, which was very simple but very good technique. And even a Japanese an engineer, Japanese engineer established TPS, which is Toyota Production System, or even Lean. And the improvement of the technique for improving quality is continuous to until the 20th century. For example, by Henry Ford, or by Walt Shewhart. And as you see here down there, the timeline of the improvement of the techniques. For example, for Lean Six Sigma established by Motorola around this year, and developed by GE or General Electric in 1995. And until today, this technique is very powerful, and many, or a lot of companies and organizations are using it actually. So Lean is established in this year 1975 by Toyota and Ohno, two Japanese engineers introduced Lean to Toyota company. First, they established a technique called TPS, or Toyota Production System, which is compared as just-in-time production, which means that all product and services should be produced on time. And also they established MODA technique. MODA, a Japanese word called waste. So anything that not adding any value to the process or to the services should be eliminated. And the first recognized academic article for lean is written in 1988 by John Carfig at MIT. He did a very academic research about lean. So this is the first, we could say that, first academic article written about lean. What does sigma mean? Sigma is a Greek letter. It is a letter used as a standard or called a standard deviation. You know, in science, especially math and statistics, this is the equation for calculating standard deviation. The idea of behind sigmas can be described as a success tree of Six Sigma. What does that mean? As you see here, this is an apple tree. The fruit or the apples everywhere here, but the quality of the fruits is different actually, because the quality of the fruit on the ground doesn't compare as the quality of the fruit in the highest level or the highest branches of the tree. So we can describe, or in the word of Lean Six Sigma or Six Sigma, they can symbol the idea to describe it as a success tree of Six Sigma. So the fruit on the ground has very very low quality compared as 3 sigma, and the fruit in the lower branches may be described as 4 sigma. It is eatable, but maybe the quality is not that good. And in the middle, or in the middle of the tree, compared to 5 sigma, which is very eatable, but not that have that very sweet taste. So in the highest branches, maybe compared to 6 sigma, which is very sweet fruit and has or have good quality. Oh, this is the idea. If you describe 6 sigma to anyone, you can use this tree. It is very simple and deliver the message behind 6 sigma. So who established Six Sigma? The first company that established Six Sigma is Motorola. It is very popular. In the 70s, Motorola started using statistical concepts for solving problems, because Six Sigma is combining tools and statistical concepts. So starting with the number, measuring, and we will talk about it later. And Motorola in 1984 started applying Six Sigma by Bill Smith. Bill Smith, you may know, he's recognized as the father of Six Sigma. He's an American engineer working at Motorola. And 4 years or 3 years later, Motorola started designing training courses for internal employees. They called it Motorola University or Wow Factor. It's internal training for their employees. And in 1994, many trained employees or an expert left Motorola. So we can say that in 1994, the employees who were trained in Motorola start to spreading outside the Motorola, and they start to spread the Six Sigma techniques, and they start to apply Six Sigma techniques at another companies. They get chances or position outside Motorola. So they start to practice Six Sigma outside Motorola. Then they start to spread this methodology outside Motorola. Motorola established 4 steps for Six Sigma, which called for M stands for measure. Measure is measuring the fact, measuring the process, measuring the real world, and collecting the data. And after that, analyzing the data. Improving or introducing the solutions and improving the process or the production system line, and after that controlling all the improvements, so maintain the process, the new process. So all four all these processes established by Motorola. And what is the effect of applying Six Sigma for Motorola? What is the benefits? Motorola said that in 1998 they invested about 25 million in 1986 for training and for developing the employment or for applying the methodology of Lean Six Sigma, and they gained or they saved about more than 250 million. Can you imagine that? I mean, maybe doubled 10 times the money. The investment of 25 million doubled maybe about 10 times. So after that, this amount doubled dramatically every year by increasing the level of sales 20%. Can you imagine the improvement of 20% every year? For example, 2000 and let's say that in 1986 the sales double, the revenue double, or the increasing of the sales 20%, and the next year 20%, that the total will be 40%. So the increasing of the levels of the sales is doubled or increases dramatically. After Motorola, General Electric started to using Six Sigma and developing this technique or the methodology. So in 1995, the company or the GE began to work with Six Sigma methodology led by an engineer called Jack Welch, and they start to introduce a very specific courses. They start to establish green belt certification, and the green belt certification became the standard for anyone who would like to get a position or for the company's management promotions. And a few years later, in 2004, the green belt certification became the standard for anyone who would like to get a new position of CEO or leadership position in the company. So it was a standard for upgrading or for getting a new position. And what did GE do for improving the Six Sigma or the technique? GE added a very beginning step to the 4 steps that Motorola has been established for, which is Mike. They established define step, which is very initial one. Define stand for the technique recognize DMIC, as maybe you may take it in another course or with Dr. Mostafa Fawzy. So the technique is DMIC. D stands for define. Define is defining any problem and objectives, and measure is measuring the process and knowing what do we need to improve, and analyze is analyzing the process and factors by using statistical programs. And after that, after analyzing the data, improving or implementing the improvement and providing solutions. And finally, C stands for control, is assuring that the improvement will be sustained. We can maintain the improvement. The new culture that we have added should be maintained. Also, the effect of applying Six Sigma in GE, it was very, very noticeable, because GE saved amount of 330 million since the beginning of implementation of Six Sigma. And 1999, the revenues have reached about 1.5 billion. It was very, at that time, it was very huge money. If you notice here in the chart, the benefits is raised dramatically, or the improvement, the increasing of the benefits is very noticeable. The question is that when lean technique and Six Sigma technique was combined, actually there is no specific answer because nobody know exactly when, but we can say that, and generally speaking, we can say that in 2001, a book written by Mill and Carnell and Waite they combined the two techniques in one book, and they think the two techniques can be combined. They wrote a book called Lean into Six Sigma: The Path to Integration of Lean Enterprise and Six Sigma. So after 2001 and after writing this book, the two techniques start to be practiced in the real world. The courses start to be provided to the companies and to the world, and people start to take courses that Lean and Six Sigma provided at the same time or combined. So maybe this year, 2001, it is the year, we can say that generally, it is the year that Lean Six Sigma was established. So we just give a brief information or brief historical information about Lean Six Sigma. Now we'll talk about the importance of Lean Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma in the recent years ranked as one of the most important high-income certification in the world by Forbes magazine. As you notice here, or as you see here, Six Sigma Green Belt is one of the top 10, or the 10th level. Why Green Belt? The question is why Green Belt? We will answer why Green Belt later, because Lean Six Sigma has white belt, then yellow belt, then green belt, then black belt, then master black belt. But why green belt? We will talk about it later. But here the most important thing, or the idea behind this slide, is Six Sigma, or applying Six Sigma, is ranked as one of the most important high income certification in the world. So it is very important to learn the Six Sigma skills, to practice it in the real life. We will talk about the benefits and the chances later, but it is very important to start to think to be a specialist in this area, or an expert, or practice it, or take courses, or specific courses about it. So what is Lean Six Sigma? If we said Lean Six Sigma as one methodology, the idea behind Lean Six Sigma is just to avoid defects and approach perfection by degree of plus or minus Six Sigma. Or we can say that defects rate, or reducing the defects rate to 4.3 per million. As you see here, this is the normal distribution, which is like a bell shape. The mean in the middle, as you see here, and Six Sigmas plus or minus Six Sigmas, the left or right side of the mean. If you move right, we should move 6 steps or 6 sigma. The normal distribution chart is decreasing when you go 6, or when you go further. I mean, Six Sigma, the normal distribution, or the defects here will be, or normal distribution will be decreased. And If you notice here, if we take, for example, 1 sigma, the percentage of the quality or the defects or the problems here will be, or the acceptable here will be just 68%. And when we move to second sigma, or for example, second sigma, the improvement will be very good, but not acceptable actually, because 95%. But Six Sigma, the improvement of the quality will be almost 100%, or we cannot say 100%, but it's 99 by 9999, or 3 nines and 6 7. So this is the importance of the applying Six Sigma. So as I said, the acceptable process, or the acceptable result, should be between the upper and lower level of the standard deviation. So the defects will be after the standard deviation. So if we move further from the mean, the acceptable level, hour or lower, will be increased. The defects will be decreased. So this is the idea behind using Six Sigma, not five or 3 or 2 or even 1. But the question is that why we are using 6, not maybe 7, 8, or even lower? Why is exactly 6 sigma? As I said, Six Sigma is very accurate. It gives a quality, or a percentage of 99.9967, which is very accurate actually. Or we can describe it as 4.3 defects per billion. You can use either one, because where did 4.3 came from? If you take 6 from 10, you will have 4. If you take 7 from 10, you will have 3. So you can in any description. So why 6 sigma? Actually, reaching a higher quality ratio, 7 or 8 sigmas, is very costly and requires a lot of time and effort, and at the same time and a lot of calculation. At the same time, all of that work will give a very small improvement. As you see here in this table, 6 sigma, as we said, this is the percentage that if you apply 6 sigma, you will give this percentage of quality. If you apply 7, the improvement will be very small, because you will get, instead of 3.4 per million, you will get 0.019. So I mean that Six Sigma provides a very suitable and satisfied accuracy for the most productive and practical schools in our world. So Six Sigma is enough, because if you apply 7 or 8, it will take more money, more effort, more calculations, more time, but the result will not really have more accuracy than you need, because for real life, 99.99967 is very accurate. It's almost 100%. We cannot say 100% for sure, but it is very accurate. However, some organizations are using more than Six Sigma, to be honest. I read some articles about that. For example, some airlines or military jets using 6.4 to improve aircraft landing, for example, or even NASA, space institutions. NASA is using more than Six Sigma, but for their own work, they need to have very accurate results. results, because you know NASA is working for very specific. But generally speaking, Six Sigma is enough and very accurate for any practical or work in our world, at least until today. So, Lean Six Sigma methodology can be summarized as quality improvement, strategy to improve work, and disciplined practical culture. But therefore, this methodology is not standard or not certification. Even Six Sigma, there is a certification provided Six Sigma field, and it is not mathematical formula like percentage. So we should, yeah, I mean, it is a methodology like project management PMP or project management professionals or lean or agile. It is not a standard. So it is practical steps. It's focused on proactive control and of inputs instead of looking at outputs. It's focused on all the practical and the inputs. The quality of the inputs should be very high to get very accurate outputs. This is the idea behind Six Sigma. Six Sigma has three dimensions. Three dimensions, or it has to be provided. Otherwise, you cannot apply Six Sigma. The dimension, the first one is methodology itself. As we said, Mike, for example, is the most popular tools that can be used for Six Sigma. And the tools, I mean, for example, the statistical programs, for example, or any technique like process map analysis. We will talk about it later. And all of these techniques should be used in Lean Six Sigma as a second dimension. The third dimension for applying Six Sigma as a people or the organization. So in the organization, for applying Six Sigma, you have to have human resources. You have to have a team for applying this technique. So you cannot apply Six Sigma without having these three dimensions. The important question, when we can use Lean Six Sigma? Honestly, there is no specific answer. But generally speaking, as I said in the beginning, all the information provided will be general, because each case in Lean Six Sigma has its own reasons. But generally speaking, we can say that if the reasons of the problems that is occurring is known, and you think is simple, you can apply very simple technique like just do it, or any simple technique like PDCA technique, which is PDCA technique, which is Edward Deming technique. And if you think the problem, the reason behind the problem that's happening in the process or the work or the production system is known, but the solutions are complicated, you can apply lean technique. However, if the reasons behind the problem is unknown, and you think the solution is simple, you should ask an expert, because you have no idea, because the reasons are unknown. But if the reasons are unknown and the solutions are complicated, you can apply the whole technique, which is Six Sigma or even Lean Six Sigma. So this slide gives a general idea about when we can apply Lean Six Sigma or any technique or any quality improvement technique. What is the practical methodology for Lean Six Sigma? The most popular one, as we said, is DMAIC. DMAIC can be applied anytime, but sometimes some organizations or the environment of the organization has no capacity or has no foundation to apply Lean Six Sigma. So we can use this technique, which is DMA TV, which means define, like the first one, measure is measuring data or collecting the data. Second one, analyze, like the mic. But here, the new step is design. What does that mean? Designing the environment to apply Lean Six Sigma, designing the new process, designing a um, new areas in the environment, for example, to apply Six Sigma, and then verify. But I can say that the most popular one is DMIC, because Lean Six Sigma is very simple methodology. I mean, you can apply it everywhere, even in your personal life. You can practice it if you would like to. And very simple. We will do two small exercises for later. But I mean, you can practice the mic in your life anytime for anything. For example, if you are going late to the lecture, you can define the problem, measure it when you are going, how many minutes you are usually being late, and think about it, analyze it, and start to give solutions, improve it, and start to apply it and control the improve, I mean, maintain the improvement. So you can apply it anytime, anywhere, in any case, in simple way, I mean. So examples about before applying Six Sigma and after applying Six Sigma. The left column about the problems before applying Six Sigma, and the right column showing the improvement after applying Six Sigma or Lean Six Sigma. We will take the first one. The first one, and all these examples as are real examples happening in the USA, or all the practical technique or applying Sigma were inside USA. For example, 20,000 lost articles of a mail per hour. Imagine that every hour, post office organization losing about 20,000 articles. After applying Six Sigma, the number is reduced sharply. So instead of losing 20,000, they lose just 7 articles per hour. It's very big and very huge improvement. And all these examples talking about another organizations, but the same idea. Improvement from very huge or very big problem, and reduced to be very small amount of defects. This is the idea about implementing Lean Six Sigma, the improving the quality and saving money. This is the most important thing in the business sector. Improving the quality and saving money. This is the most required thing in the business sector. The core of Lean Six Sigma is a simple equation, which is Y equals F of X. This is the equation that is used for providing Six Sigma. What does Y stands for? Y stands for outputs. So if you'd like to get output, you have to have F of X. F stands as an expression of how to manage the relationship between elements and when we use or apply the elements. Sorry, Khalid, we have 40 minutes left before. Okay. Okay, feel free to write down the question, and we will move very faster than now to start to at least to practice something. So now we'll talk about this Lean Six Sigma builds. Lean Six Sigma builds standardized as white belt, yellow belt, green belt, black belt, master black belt, and CO. The most important one is green belt, in my opinion, and it is in the real life. Why? Because green belt is the practical one, the green belt holder who can collect the data and to apply the Lean Six Sigma methodology in the real world. So I mean, if you think to have this certificate, this belt, in my opinion, having yellow and green is enough. Then practice the technique, and after 3 or 4 or 5 projects, you can think about taking the black belt. Why? Because unfortunately, some organizations here in Saudi Arabia are giving yellow, green, and black belt in one course, which is, in my opinion, it is not enough, or it is not good. Why? Because black belt is very expert, should be an expert in Lean Six Sigma. So how can get yellow, green, and black belt at the same time, and you didn't have practice the technique in the real world. So green belt is very important to have if you'd like to practice it in the real world and apply the technique and do some projects, and after that think about getting black belt. As we said in a previous slide, the green belt ranked as one of the top 20 levels, and I mean, and the highest salary in the world. So this one is very important. You can get black or even master black belt after that. Master black belt can teach and train and consult and supervise all the project. Okay, lean. Lean, we gave some information about lean, but the most important information here about lean is the lean application, which is 8 types of waste and 5S methodology. Lean, the idea behind lean is reaching the optimum performance with more profitability, which is increasing the efficiency and eliminating waste. This is the idea behind lean, which is a Japanese technique, as we said. The basic idea behind or for eliminating waste or lean is the management should be behind or based on information, not on ideas. So all the improvement or all the management should be based on information, collecting the data from the same from the field, not on ideas or from anyone that has high salary. Doesn't mean or high position. No, it should be based on numbers. So numbers, as you said, numbers never lie, and reduce only what the customer needs. The customer, the word of the customer doesn't mean the external customer. Customer, maybe your manager, maybe your supervisor, maybe even your colleagues or anyone that asks you to do something. So this is the idea behind, or the basic ideas for lean. And lean is talking about learning by continuous evaluation. Always the improvement should be, or learning, the improvement should be continuing, and the field work respect everyone, as you know. And the principles of thinking lean is determine what creates value to the customer's point of view. Always concentrate on what creates value or add value to the customer's point of view, and determine all the steps that add value to the work actually at the same time. And anything does not add value should be eliminated. Anything. So always depending on the customer's point of view, adding value. So lean team analyze all business activities that add no value to eliminate them. Okay, we can skip this one. And anything that not adding value, as we said, according to the customer, should be defined to be eliminated. So sometimes some processes that not adding value, you cannot recognize it until you write down or you draw the process functional for process functional map. You can not recognize anything that not adding value until you write down everything. So any step or any process that not adding value to the customer's point of view, to the work, to the sale, be eliminated, because it it causes many problems or costing lots of money. Okay, but sometimes at the same time, but some not adding value steps, it is not needed, but it's very important to apply. For example, safety procedures or recycling procedures, or anything that only procedures that not adding value to the work, but it is need to be applied. I mean, not anything. I mean, not any process that not adding value should be eliminated. There is some exceptions, which is the steps or the processes that is needed internally. At least the organization is required to apply some specific security things, or as I said, recycling procedures. So we should be careful about eliminating anything not adding value. A type of waste, yes, you can. Yes, just in case. Yeah, you can do if you had. This is the for managing the problems or insurance, doing an insurance. Yes, you can do it. But I mean, there is some legislations inside the company or inside the organization. You cannot eliminate everything that's adding value, but you should be careful to exactly what you can eliminate, what you cannot eliminate if it is not adding value. The most popular lean steps is 8 types of waste. Defects, overproduction, waiting, non-utilized talent, transportation. It means transportation using devices or using a machine, transformation and inventory, motion for people, extra processing, all these eight type of waste. The problem was in the problem of waste in daily work may cause physical and psychological exhaustion, or increase frustration, or increase work, cause responsibility evasion, and blame others. Maybe it may happen. So always try to eliminate waste in the work environment. Uh, defects it may be due to a lack of works, excessive and aggregated performance. The common reason for defects may the difference in some operations, or using wrong methods for production, or even weak monitoring and inspection of the process, or lack of product standards and ambiguity in the specification. For example, reduce damage, product damage due to wrong handling or installation. Overproduction is the most popular actually. For example, a school has, for example, 200 students. They provide or they ask for having 400 books. I don't know why. Overproduction is very popular in our real world. Produce product ahead of time, for example. Common reason, lack of required production schedules or based on expectation, not from measuring what they and work with wrong thing in the wrong timing. Examples are maybe producing extra products without monitoring or order status. Or an example, as I said, ordering the books for a school. Waiting for another employee to complete his or her task. This is also very popular one. So the manager or the CEO should be sure that all the process is flowing very smooth and everyone take his task and complete it in time and handle it to the next employee. The ideal time caused by suffocation of elsewhere. Maybe sometimes the lack doesn't. I mean, this problem doesn't mean the employee has no experience. For example, no, maybe the load of the work is very heavy, and the number of employee in a specific section is not enough to complete the work. So the balance should be here, should be provided. I mean, each one or each employee should handle work that he or she can complete it in time and handle it or to the next one. For example, only one printer is at work. Imagine one printer at a company. So if anyone would like to print a sheet of piece of paper, he or she should wait for some time. So this is waiting, this is losing time and money, or lack staff in doing the main step, as I said before. Fourth step is non-utilized talent. So lack of attention to the skills and talents of employees. The common reason may be poor training. There is no training inside the company, or very easy or maybe very difficult task for the employee, or bad communication. The communication is very, very, very important thing that you should take it in your mind. Why? Because the communication in management, they said that maybe about 90% of work is about communication. The manager communicate with everyone by using very different things like email, phone, paper, or anything else. So if you cannot deliver the message clearly, don't wait for getting a very good result. So be sure that the communication inside the organization is very, very clear and delivered. Examples for non-utilized talent is scarcity of training or non-specialist specialist employment. The fifth one is transportation inside the work environment. Common reasons for that, which is unnecessary moves inside the work environment. The common reasons: access storage or unnecessary storage or poorly designed work environment. By the way, the project that I have done with DriveLock and Sycamore, as Dr. Said, the main reason was transportation. Why? Because they didn't have a storeroom that can they store all their raw materials, and they stored everything everywhere at the plant. And you can when you enter the plant, you can find small store areas everywhere, and they had very serious problem because the forklift cannot move everywhere inside the plant. So we did this. They completed about 4 months working with them to try to measure the problem, the forklift and the movement of all the and everything, and providing the solutions and improving the quality of the storing and movement inside the work environment. And we did it in the last month. We noticed that the improvement very noticeable. Why? Because we start to provide measure after measuring the problem, and we did analysis to the problem, and we start to reorganize the work environment to be sure that all the movements are necessary. All the movements are necessary. It's very simple. Also, the sixth type of waste is inventory, and storing more than what you need, for example, or keep unnecessary tools or information at the work environment. And this is one is very popular. I did some at the same project, that DriveLock. We did some. I found some unnecessary things stored, and the company doesn't need it anymore. I don't know why. Maybe lack of inspection, or sometimes it happens. The common reason, overproduction. Some companies are producing many products and store it for future. No, all the product should be produced in time. Depends on the order, depends on the customer's needs. So this is the idea behind the Lean Six Sigma, or imbalance of number of employees in relation to the workload, or the lack of stores, sorry, I couldn't read this one, with the volume of production required. The example, storing unusable tools or keeping unnecessary information even on a computer, because if the person working on a computer would like to read or pull something, so some information, search for something, he or she may take some time to search for the information that he or she is intended to read. So anything anything is unnecessary should be eliminated, or should be putting in hard drive on a backup area. Seventh one is motion. Motion means movement of the workers or the people inside the environment. So any motion that does not add value to the process should be eliminated, or uh, not doing it. The common reason is anti and organized work environment, which is very popular. If you, for example, go to any area or any plant, you will notice, not all of them absolutely, but you will find some areas that not organized, which means that the production or the workers will take some time to move, and the products or the you can improve this problem by simple way, which eliminating anything that cause or not add not value to the process. Examples: traditionally input data into Excel. Now we have many techniques or programs that you can add or import or export files by clicking one. clicking um, one button, or search for tools. All tools should be put in the area that is easy to reach and easy to find. Or working for paper printing, so the printer should be the place of the printer should be put in a specific area that anyone can reach and easy to go to. Or putting barriers between employees. Nowadays in management, barriers are not effective, or barriers should be eliminated, should be removed. The last one is extra processing. It is not of working standard. It is not of working standard as unnecessary. The common reason, weak work standard. There is no standard. There is no steps. Everyone is working from his mind or from his point of view. No, that's why I put work standard at the end of this lecture, because work standard at any work environment is very important. Steps for everything to improve the quality and to produce what the customer needs. It is not about everyone do whatever he would like to do to produce the service or to give the result or to produce the product. No, there have to be a standard work to be sure that all the product or results is matching what the customer need. Example, use another management standard that do not apply to the nature of the business, or each employee use a method of work that suit him. This is wrong. You have to have work standards at any work environment or in work organization. Okay, let's take the first exercise. Please have a sheet of piece of paper and a pencil or a pen. What is this exercise? Imagine that now you are, for example, responsible for Formula One activities, okay? And you are responsible for changing tires for Formula One cars. I mean, the activities. So what you should do now, the activities in the first column here. What you should do now, are you ready for, just I'd like to be sure, are you ready to do the exercise? Please say yes or write down yes or okay, just one.
Yeah, you can go ahead, Engineer Khalid,
Okay.
and start the exercise.
Okay, the exercise and all the activities here, some of them adding value, some of them are not adding value. You should recognize now. Let's take the first one. First activity, walk to the tools section and bring the pen. What do you think? Is it adding this activity adding value or not adding value? And what types of waste do you think this activity is about? Just write down. Is it VA or NVA? This activity. Let's take it as an example. Okay. Yeah, okay, sweet. Let's apply this one. Let's apply it to all the activities. It is not really motion, but let's take 1 or 2 minutes. Oh, 1 minute is enough, I think. What do you think? Which activity? Value adding, not value adding? At what type of waste do you think this activity about? Okay, let's start. You don't have to write down that activity. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make it easy for you.
And Engineer Khalid, excuse me, just due to the time, we can jump some of the concepts in the following slides. So they already know what 5S is and what's the standard work is. If you just
Okay.
want to go ahead and go to those specific details or the exercises directly for those 2 points in specific
Okay.
after this one.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's see so let's see so the answer is here. We cannot take everyone, but the answer, the concept behind that is any activity that not adding value should be eliminated, and value adding should concentrate on 5S, as doctor is you already knew it. And the mic, I don't know if you knew it in details or not,
This one
doctor.
maybe not because I did not
Okay,
cover it in this course.
sweet.
Yeah, so do you guys know what is demand? Anyone know what this concept is about? Maybe they did not cover it in other courses as well, so you can go ahead and talk
Okay,
about this.
okay, sweet. So the mic, okay, the mic is about Six Sigma actually. Concentrate, as we said in the beginning, Six Sigma, but we will take more information about the mic now. The mic is very popular one, and you can apply it in any case, in any problem. Yeah, Six Sigma processes. Right. The mic, as we said, the mics, D stand for define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Define, which is a step that is established by GA, if you remember, General Electric, is about focusing and understanding the main factors and requirements for the client that influence the output process. So this is the foundational step for understanding the issues. So this step focuses on the definition of the procedures and mapping all the processes of the work. Why mapping? Because if you would like to define any problem or any, you have to draw or to draw the all processes. For example, here the cross-functional maps. The most popular one technique is cross-functional map. For example, this organization has three departments: sales department, accounting department, and shipping department. So sales department, some activities happening in sales department, all related, but you have to draw the map to understand what is the process. So where the problem may happen. Is it in sales department? So if it's happened in the sales department, in which activity? Specify that. So any process should be mapped to understand the details, to see the details on a paper, on a piece of paper. The shape of the process or the activities is different. For example, this one is for decision. Decision means yes or no. Sales sales calls and yes or no. We can talk about it or we can read about it more, but I mean that define is very important step. Why? Because if you define the problem, you can now measure the problem. If you cannot define the problem, so all the next process, you will waste your time of working about nothing. So the most important one is defining the initial one. So you have to have a cross-functional map. You have to write down all activity and start to think from your experience, from your skills, from Six Sigma skill, where you can find any problem here and start to improve or measure and improve this one. So this define, this initial very important one. Measure is collecting the data. Measure is this, in this step, the performance or processes measured and the necessary data should be collected. So in this stage, the focus is about the main outputs for this step is a clear integrated description of work procedures and how to implement them, and it's about numbers. You know, collecting data is numbers. So evaluation of the success and evaluation effectiveness of these procedures, and evaluate the measurement system used to collect data and make decisions in the measurement process, which types of, I mean, if you'd like to collect the data, so do you have to do, or do you have to have a survey or a questionnaire, or you are measuring the distances, or which kind of measurement you should use. And in the end of the measurement, you should come up with a list of possible causes that might cause the defects. This is the result of the measurement. So now you start to see the causes. You start to notice where is the defect, where is the defects happening, in which section and which activity. After that, or we can say that in the same process measure, among techniques, the most popular one is cause and effect diagram, or called fishbone diagram. Fishbone diagram is very simple and very powerful actually. So if you find out the problem, you can write the problem here, and all the causes should be written in the left side. The main causes should be written in the main bones. And the minor causes should, for example, for people, if the problem is the causes of the problem happened by people, you can write all the minor causes that is related to the people. Okay, and everyone should you should do that with every kind of cause. So in the end of the day, you will have all the causes that may cause the problem. This is the idea behind cause and effect diagram, or fishbone diagram. So after that, the third step is analyze, which is doing analysis, or using statistical programs. So all the data that you used you collected, you have to collect it, is using it to analyze the causes of defects and find the defects using statistical controls. So this step focus on obtaining statistical and data and some graphs in order to determine the factors that causes the defects in work, and to improve the, 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 the work, or the work improvement. So the most popular statistical problem using nowadays in Six Sigma is Minitab, also ANOVA, and the simple one, or the easiest one, is Sigma XL. You can use XL, Microsoft XL, but it is not but it has the power to do analysis. But you can use it in minor things, like in but you can, the most popular one is Minitab. By the way, you can download this program for 1 month for free. You can practice it for free for 1 month. It's very powerful one. And in YouTube, you can find very, very, very powerful courses or techniques, or I mean videos about explaining about how can you use Minitab or Sigma Excel. It's very easy nowadays, and you have an internet, so you can learn by yourself of applying if you would like to. So after doing the analysis, now you can improve the process. This is about performing the operation, the new operations, and offer solutions based on the results and the analysis, not based on ideas. Again, all the improvement should be based on the analysis, the result of the analysis, on the numbers. So it is about identifying main source of the defects, and this is step, a very practical step about eliminate or start to solving the causes and the improving the process, and start to apply the new techniques or new solutions. So improvement or improving process will raise the level of quality. This is the main goal, is raising or having a good quality, or raising the level of the quality. The last one is control. Control is being sure that all the new processes or the performance should be maintained. You produce new things, so be sure that all the new techniques or new process or new practical work should be maintained by workers or by employees. Or so the control, if you did not concentrate on control, the problem may happen again. So if you provide new solutions and apply the new solutions, so be sure that the new solutions is performed, or the workers or employees did the new one, or practice the new techniques or new processes, and being as a routine to them. Otherwise, you will sometimes change is very heavy on people. So, as a manager or as a Lean Six Sigma certified holder, be sure that this one, the control. Why I'm concentrating here on control? Because some people is okay measuring the problem, improving, and doing the implement, and but the implementation, facing some difficulties implementing the new solutions. So control is very important step to be sure that all new solutions or new practices should be implemented. Quality definitions of the quality. We will take a brief talk about quality. It is a degree of excellence, or you can say that conformance to requirements, or totality of characteristics with act to satisfy a need, or freedom of defects, or satisfying customers. It has actually many definitions, and equality actually has concepts or standards or dimensions of product quality, or dimensions of service, or even phases or levels. Quality has levels. And quality, any production or service system cannot be efficient if its product or results have poor quality. Or if we said poor quality, we have to specify which level of quality, because each customer maybe ask for specific level of quality. So why always saying that it depends on the customer point of view? Because customer is specifying which level of quality he needs or she needs. So in poor product or service, it is likely that the most waste area is found in the initial stages. Why? Because the initial stage, if you, as we said, for example, in define phase, in the mic phase, if you did not work very well in this stage, all the work after that will be very weak. I mean, all you will find, you will produce a very weak process or surface. So be sure that all initial stages do it in very good or concentration, focus on it to get a very good output. So where the beginnings of the faults and errors are formed. Even risk management, if you read about risk management, all the risks, if you take care of the management or the work in the beginning, the level of the risk will be declined. At the same talk with the same idea with the quality. To avoid this waste, high quality products must be provided at every stage of the work without relying on the inspection processes, and at the last stage to produce the service. As I said, always concentrate in the first stages. So because when you build something, you cannot go back and rebuild it again. So start applying quality from the beginning. We know that human nature has some weak points. It is the nature of the human. So for example, forgetting or misunderstanding or lack of information or anything that, or slow actions or anything, as you know, in our real life. But we have to work on that. I mean, the suggestions is designing the methodology inside the organization or operation or procedures that simplified design is easy to do, removing a redundant and unnecessary system. I mean, you have to have standard work, you have to have procedures that can get rid of any weak point in human nature, or good skills, or working as a teamwork, or as I said in the beginning, a good communication inside the environment, organization. I mean, to be sure that the human nature or the weak points or the weak areas in human nature does not affect the quality, not reduce the quality. Dr. Fawzi said that you have standard, you already have some information about standard work. Let's take the exercise of this area. But I will cover this slide and why is this important? Because as I said before, if you build a new thing or new process and to improve the quality, you have to maintain the things that you have provided, any process. Why? Because if you did not maintain the process, or the workers will go back to their old habits, and you will have the quality will not increase, or you cannot improve the quality during the time. So if you build any new habit or anything that improve quality, you should maintain it in the work environment, and then apply new thing. And I mean, with any improvement, you should maintain it, control it. Improvement, control it. Yeah, by using standard work, by training the workers, by any solution that can help to make the maintaining of the continuous work development is occurring. This is the very important. Otherwise, all the improvement for improving the quality will fail. Why? Because there is no maintaining. Okay, let's take the exercise, the last exercise. Some sheet, maybe you know about the standard work examples. There's some sheets. We will take very small exercise. If you have, please use now the piece of paper and the same sheet that you have used. You can use it again. Imagine that you are part of a project team to design a standard template, a template for bird standing drawing. Okay. What is required now is to start with bird standing on a wire. I mean that now write or draw a bird that is standing on a wire. from your point of view, what type or what is the typical, what is the what is the shape of any bird that lands on a wire? Did you get the idea? Just draw a picture of a bird standing on a wire from your point of view. Maybe we'll give you 1 or 2 minutes. Simple one, just simple one. Okay, did you get the idea? Please write down yes or I can explain it. Okay, sweet. So just draw a bird standing on a wire. Okay. So now there is no standards, no steps provided to you. Imagine that a company has no standard work for working. This is the problem sometimes. Okay. Assume that you all done that. So what if there is standard work for from a standard? I mean, if the standard for drawing the bird or a bird that's standing on a wire. Sorry. So as you see here in the slide, this is number of the steps, and the second column bird standard work. For example, the operations for first one, draw big D letter horizontally like this picture. Okay, the second one, draw small ellipse vertically in the middle of, and you can read all of these steps, and the time for each step, the average time here in the third column. And this is very simple one, but to get the idea of behind, if you what is the process if you don't have work standards, or what is the work and process or the quality or the time or the effort if you have work standards. So I mean, I'm sure that if you have work standards for drawing a bird standing on a wire, you will write exactly almost, I mean, maybe 90% of the same as in step 4. But I'm sure that now if you compare this one to with what you have already drawn, okay, so there will be no, yeah, there will be no I mean standard works for that. This is the idea behind it. It's very simple, but I know it is very simple, but it is not possible. Some companies have no standards work, or not clear, as I could say, standard work. Okay, the last thing that I would like to say, when you're starting to apply Lean Six Sigma, it's very important to take attention to 3 most influential voices in the work environment that directly affect business, which are voice of customer for sure, and voice of employees inside the organization, and all the voice of organization itself. So when taking into account these 3 voices and not avoiding them, this will absolutely cause the implementation of DMAIC in the balanced way. So I think this is the final slide, and maybe we have some time if you'd like to start questions and answers, Dr. Fawzy.
Yes, so thank you very much, Engineer Khalid, for this rich and very helpful overview about the Lean and Six Sigma applications and implementation with some details about some tools that we usually use in the Lean manufacturing. So with the rest of the class time, let's take your questions, comments, if you have anything to write in the chat box, or if you want to raise your hand so you can speak. We just like have 10 minutes or so for your questions. So Abdulaziz, go ahead.
السلام عليكم. يعطيك العافية دكتور. شكرا لك مهندس خالد. I have a question about the Six Sigma. Is Six Sigma more effective in high quantity production lines or services? أنا بس بتأكد من المعلومة، هل هذا صحيح ولا لا؟
Yeah, Engineer Khalid, can you
Yeah,
elaborate?
yes, for sure. It is very effective technique, Six Sigma, or we can say that Lean Six Sigma to be more effective. I mean, applying Lean Six Sigma is very important and very effective in operation.
Yes, of course it is effective, but I meant on high quantity production lines or services. It is
Yes, of course.
more effective. And I mean, we
Yeah.
can see it more on charts.
Yes, you can. Yeah, very effective. Absolutely, because I mean, it needs. I mean, this is you will have big project for sure, but it's more effective. I mean, applying Six Sigma in big projects will take more time, but it is for sure it's very effective.
Okay, thank you.
Did I?
Okay. Any
Thank
other
you.
question? Any other question or comment from you guys? Anyone else has a question? So, Engineer Khalid, just to sum up, based on your experience in the governmental sector and the private sector, is there a difference in the application of the Lean Six Sigma in those two sectors?
I can say that today, yes, the lean is, as you know, doctors, an old one, and Six Sigma is introduced in the 20th century or I mean 19th century. So the difference may be using statistical concepts or statistical programs. This is the new one, the new techniques. So, I mean, we cannot say which one is accurate or no, but depends on the case. In any case. So, I mean, applying statistical programs or concepts is very. I mean, give Six Sigma the powerful point to make or to say that it is more powerful. I could say that.
And do you think that it's like applied in the governmental sector with the same rate or with the same frequency it's applied in the private sector?
I don't think so, doctor, because you know the government sector is a little bit traditional, and if you talk about Six Sigma, sometimes you have no idea what the Six Sigma is.
Okay, so we can see
So
that the application in the private sector is having more
yeah,
frequent.
yes, and honestly, here in Saudi Arabia, not really, but generally speaking, yes, because we have here in Saudi Arabia, we have no, I mean, Six Sigma consultant, maybe one or two in all of the country. Most of
Who
company,
has the black belt, you mean?
yeah, who has, I mean, black belt or master black belt or can who can, contact with to improve. But some companies are, contacting with some organizations, Six Sigma organizations in the UAE or even in Egypt to do the Six Sigma project. So I mean that for the students, Lean Six Sigma is, very, very important skills for yourself, even for revenue or for new skills, because it can be applied in anything here. It's Sigma, and private sector or governmental sector.
And you're saying that there is a need here in the country of those who are
very, very,
specialized in this.
of course,
Okay,
of course,
very good.
especially in the healthcare system.
Perfect. We have a question from Abdullah Khoja saying that is there tools are actually applied in most of the Saudi Arabia organization or not? If this tool
Actually,
is,
Aramco for. Mhm.
yeah, go ahead.
Aramco for sure they are using Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, even
Okay.
Coast is providing an internal program for their employees, which is very good. That's why, for example, Coast is very famous, and their job is very popular. For example, I don't know, but tools, it depends. Lean Six Sigma tools, you cannot apply all of the tools. It depends on the case. For example, you can't take, for example, just 5S and apply it. It depends on the case, Abdullah. There is no specific answer.
Yeah, for which tool you have to use. It's based on
Yes.
the situation. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Any last question or comment? We just have a minute or two. Anyone else has anything to say? So just as a reminder for you, for those who are interested to contact with Engineer Khalid for any further questions or information about his presentation or anything related to the Lean Six Sigma, he's welcoming to get your questions and contact you through his email, phone, or LinkedIn page as well. So by that, I'm just gonna end the session for today by thanking Engineer Khalid one more time for his time and for his effort to bring up all those information in one slide, lecture, using those slides to refresh your minds about the concepts and talk about the applications in some different organizations with some details. Thank you exercises as well. And this is the end of our lecture today. Just a reminder for those who are going to present their work next time, either the topic presentation or the project, it's going to be at the beginning of next class, or we will start the project's presentation by next class, inshallah. So thank you, Engineer Khalid, and thank you all for being with us during this time. And see you all next lecture. And Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fawzi, and thanks to the students for listening. Thank you.
Yeah, you are more than welcome. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too.